Speaking about behind the scenes in WWE, I know you've been traveling this week, but you didn't by chance happen to listen to Stephanie McMahon's podcast where Paul Heyman was a guest, did you?
No, but I'm going to. I saw it. I was like flipping through stuff on a plane or on my way to the airport or something. I saw it. I went, oh, I got to listen to that. So I put a heart by it. So I go back and watch it.
There's a comment in there I wanted to get your take on. I just really was curious to see if you ever saw this, and I'll let you get the full context when you listen to it. But the gist is, I think we've all heard through the years that at different times, Paul Heyman and Stephanie McMahon did not get along when they worked on the writing team behind the scenes. But what they shared with the audience is that once upon a time, they sort of settled that. And the way they settled it is they realized that Vince McMahon had pit them both against each other. I guess Vince allegedly told Paul, hey, I want you to come in here and be the disruptor, challenge her. If she thinks it's her place to manage you, then damn it, she's going to have to learn how to manage you. So be the contrarian of voice and opinion. And Stephanie would ask her dad, hey, I want to work with Heyman on this. And he would say, no, absolutely not. He thinks this is his company and you've got to put a stop to that. You need to speak up. Don't let him push you out. So he's pitting them against each other. And then I guess they had some sort of late night exchange and they realized when one of them asked the other, why the F are you doing this to me? Because your dad asked me to. Really? Yeah. He told me to rein you in. Well, he told me to put you in your place. So he created that. And that's an interesting case study in the psychology of Vince McMahon and peering into the mind of a madman. Did you ever see anything like that where he was pitting two people against each other just to see what would happen?
No, I can't say that I did, but I can say that I absolutely 100% based on things I did see, not necessarily this kind of a scenario, but the quirky things that I experienced in the 4 short months that I reported directly to Vince McMahon, I'm not going to, it left a mark, right? And I've often thought about like, why did he do that? Why did he even bring me in? That was like my first question. Well, why the hell am I even here? Right. And I think part of it is what we're seeing here and reading here. I think it was like, let's bring this guy in and shake shit up. If he does, great. If he doesn't, he's out the door. I think it was maybe that simple in my case, but I certainly I will buy into that story 100%. I believe it to be true because that is, I think it's indicative of Vince's proclivity to control people, manipulate people, which is what made him a great storyteller. That's what great writers do. That's what great directors do. That's what great actors and actresses do. They manipulate your emotions to get you to do what they want you to do. And it's not a bad thing. I'm not making it sound like a bad thing, but it's his nature. It was his nature, probably still is his nature, as it is with all creative people. And this was just another manifestation of it. This is another example of working the boys, so to speak, or whatever. And it's also in a weird way, and I've talked to other people who have experienced versions of this in a corporate environment. It's also to see how fast the cream can rise to the top. Who wins? Let's figure out who should be doing what. I know how. Let's make them compete and sit back and watch and see what attributes you like and where you think strengths are and where you think they're not, based on an intense kind of competition. I know it sounds kind of cruel, but it's really effective.
Let's do a question from Heather Whitley. Heather, we're so glad you're here with us. I mean, I just want to give you a round of applause. Like, we're up to 3% female audience here, Eric. We're fired up at 83.
We're breaking the glass ceiling.
This is, I think you called it before, a testicle festival.
It's more like a plywood ceiling.
Yeah, something like that. Heather says, you've done just about everything in the wrestling and entertainment business. Hindsight being what it is there one thing you would change about your career? So one thing, if you're going to go back and make one adjustment, maybe not even a major adjustment, maybe it could be a tiny 2 millimeter adjustment. If you're going to make one in your career, what would it be?
This is going to sound so cheesy, but it's true. I mean, I am so grateful to be where I am right now in this moment with the skills that I have, the experience I've gained, um, including all of the bad stuff that people would think I should want to go back and change, but I don't, because it's like all of it added together got me to where I am right now. And leaving out some of those ingredients, just like when you're baking a cake, you may not end up with what you really wanted in the end. And I'm so great, and I say that only because, and it's not true. Trust me, I still screw some stuff up, but or miss opportunities even. Um, but I'm better equipped now than I've ever been in my life to go out and do some pretty cool big stuff. And I wouldn't be here if I wouldn't have just gone through all of the muck. So I wouldn't change a thing. I've been blessed. I'm good.
All right, let me pick your brain because I got one question I've always wanted to ask, and we've never really talked about it here. We've established that when the WWE brought the NWO over, those guys continued to get a royalty for the NWO. You did not.
Mhm.
I'm curious, hypothetically, we've never talked about this. When you were on camera for WCW, did you have a separate performer contract?
Nope.
Do you
Well,
regret not
no, no, no,
giving?
no. Let me take that back. Technically, I think I may have in one of my contracts, because my contracts were typically 2-year contracts, I think. And I had several of them, and each one of them kind of changed as my responsibilities changed with them. Um, and it got to a certain point somewhere early on, like when I think I got promoted to senior vice president, it was like I was still on camera. Because remember, I started as an announcer. So I started my initial salary, I don't remember what it was, like 125 grand a year or something like that when I first started. Then I went up to 175. And then when I got promoted as an officer of the company, as an executive, um, between the amount of money that I had been making as an announcer and the kind of corporate threshold that existed for my particular position, I was like exceeding that. So they had to, in order for accounting, Turner Accounting, and it's not unusual, but in order to help balance the scales, so to speak, technically there was a talent contribution to my executive contract, but it was kind of creative. And that only lasted, I think, for about a year or two, and then it morphed into something else. But no, I never got paid. I never got royalties. I never got any of that stuff. I just got a salary.
Hey, just in time for the holidays, what if you didn't have to worry about any of that credit card debt? If you're feeling stuck making the minimum payments and you don't want to have to put Christmas on a credit card, we can help at savewithconrad.com. We routinely help our listeners save hundreds of dollars a month. Find out how much money you can save right now for free at savewithconrad.com.